Philippa Found, welcome to the Conversation Coffee Break.
It's called It's Complicated, Collected Confessions of Messy Modern Love. And it is a book which brings together 250 anonymous confessions that were sent to me. I think for me, it's that they're real stories. And so they're really relatable. As you were saying, you read them and you're like, oh my God. I just wanted to give people a safe space where they could share what was actually going on by making it completely anonymous. This is what it actually really like.
Yeah.
People would be commenting going like, oh my God, this could have been written by me. This is me. I feel so seen.
It's Craig David's song, but in reverse.
My sister said to me recently, but we're all fools for love. I hope they say, oh my God, it's brilliant. I've never read stories like this. It'll make me laugh. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And just, it made me feel better. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I think, you don't, when you read it, you're like, I'm not alone.
Yes.
Whatever situation you've been in, good or bad, you're like, I'm not alone. Philippa Found, welcome to the Conversation Coffee Break.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's really nice to be here.
Right, we're talking about your book. And I was saying to you before we started officially, so I feel a bit like Oprah because I've got your copy, which I tabbed. I haven't gone as far as highlighting it because I'm like, I can't highlight it yet. But I was saying to you, I was reading bits and I was like, oh my God, this gives me flashbacks. I remember doing some of these things, some of these emotions. This is mad.
That's what I wanted. And do you know what? I always think it's really interesting, the stories that resonate with people, because everyone has different vibes that they're like, oh my God, this is me. And you can really tell a lot about a person by their favourite chapter. Yeah. Mine is It's Complicated. Or the breakups. I'm not sure, actually.
I kind of it's a bit weird to say, I kind of but in a relationship ones interest me. And the breakups ones.
Yeah.
But then it's just so many, you can just open it and you'll just find a bit and you'll just be like, oh my God. Same story. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably explain what the book's about in case anyone...
I didn't even ask you my first question. So, Philippa Found, would you like to tell the listeners of the Conversation Coffee Break about your book?
Yes, well, so it's called It's Complicated, Collected Confessions of Messy Modern Love. And it is a book which brings together 250 anonymous confessions that were sent to me through a website I built of people's love lives, whether that's them being single, what it's really like to be single, exes, dating, hookups, breakups, friendships, long-term relationship, breakups, as we spoke about. And it takes you through the entire spectrum of relationships. So it starts with exes and then goes from single to dating all the way through to breakups. And it's just a complete range of stories, happy stories, sad stories, shocking stories. But the point is, I think for me, it's that they're real stories. And so they're really relatable. As you were saying, you read them and you're like, oh my God. And what I loved about them was I started as an art project, basically. I built a website and I wanted to know what was going on in people's love lives. I felt so it actually started in lockdown and I thought there was going to be such a massive shift to people's relationships. And I was anticipating a lot of heartbreak and a lot of loss and longing and the kind of things that we don't really have space to put anywhere. Therapy was kind of shut down or gone online. We didn't have our friends at that time. And I thought we were going to be lost at home, isolated in this continual scroll of social media where at that time, at least, and still now, when you're posting your personal life, you're not posting all the messy stuff that you're not ashamed of. You're doing the highlight. Yeah, it's completely curated. And so I thought, people compare themselves to that as much as we say, oh, it's all fake and whatever. I honestly believe until you have evidence of the contrary, you're still unconsciously comparing yourself to all this fiction. And so I just wanted to give people a safe space where they could share what was actually going on by making it completely anonymous. Even I didn't know who was sending the confessions in. And then I started publishing them on the website and on Instagram to give people a counter to that false narrative and be like, this is what it's actually really like.
Yeah.
And people really responded, as you said, people would be commenting going oh my God, this could have been written by me. This is me. I feel so seen. And I just thought, yeah, this is kind of what I wanted. And so I kept gathering these confessions, and eventually I had enough to make a book, and that here we are. This is the book.
I think it's because I was gonna ask you, like, what makes this book different? But then I was kinda answering my own question in the sense that because it's anonymous, people have freedom to
Yeah,
just tell you everything with no comeback, with no judgment. I think that's what
but
when you're
that's it.
posting stuff on social media, I think
Judgment.com.
in
Yeah.
I know you should avoid judgment.com. But it's true
Yeah,
though, when you are posting stuff on social media, on the back of your mind, you're still thinking, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be judged for this." If irrespective whether it's good or bad, you're
yeah. Oh,
thinking there's gonna be a little bit of judgment.
100%. Well, we're looking at like counts. That's like judgment. It's like,
Yeah,
yay, you did really well, you
and
know.
comments.
And so also, so that was a really key thing. It had to be um, a safe space, and so
Mm,
that meant when I brought it onto Instagram, I was really like, I was like like policing the comments, like anything that I thought. Actually, the community was really good because they really got it. But anything that I
yeah.
thought anyway, if the submitter of that story read and then felt shamed in any way, or someone else read and thought, oh my God, if I share my story, I'm going to be judged, they start self-editing. And I didn't want
Yeah.
that. So I'm really clear, this is a judgment-free space. If you want to judge, like get out, like don't follow. This is not what it's
Mm.
about. So like literally in the bio, it was like, no shaming, no judgment. And like, yeah, I think we shame women's stories especially so much, like, and that silences them. Like, look at what we do in the media. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Well,
I wanted to do as much as I could to create a platform where people did feel
mm,
uh, free to be uncensored and share
yeah.
the less palatable stories that they wouldn't say like openly, and maybe wouldn't even tell their friends, and sort of like, you know,
You need to
unburden.
unload those sometimes. Yeah,
Exactly.
'cause you can go on any social media platform and it can be the most innate of things. Someone just saying, "You know what? I've gone from using this shampoo to that shampoo." And someone will comment, "Well, why have you done that? Do you know that they use this product and they use that?" And you're like,
Yeah,
"This has got just leave." Like, no
yeah.
one needs to hear your criticism or your
Like,
passive aggressiveness.
in a way, like you think we're kind of becoming more progressive and more inclusive and like, you know, allowing more narratives and being more open. But we're in this cancel culture and this absolute judgment and shaming. And I wonder how much we're actually going the other way. Do you know what I mean? Because like you're so policed and then you're self-policing.
Yeah,
And yeah, in certain respect, well, when it comes to I think these types of stories, that's not helpful. And so, what I'm
no,
really proud of having created was a space where people felt like they could share. And then the fact that then sharing them with the world, the response has been like, oh my God, I feel so much better.
yeah.
So,
Before I go into my next question, it just
yeah,
reminded me of this post I used to see on social media where someone says, "Oh, I don't like oranges. Oh no, I love oranges. Oh, you love oranges, but why don't you love mangoes? What have mangoes ever done to you?" And it's that whole taking
yeah,
something
yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah,
basic and then flipping it and turning it into something when it's not.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Mm,
I think because they're true stories, there's something almost more reassuring in it because I don't know, you read a fiction book, like
yeah,
any great book, and be like, "Oh, see, like it can happen, like they got together or, you know, they broke up and it was fine." But you're still like, "Well, that's actually just a story someone made up." Whereas this,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, this is real life, you know that whole thing,
mm,
like you can't be what you can't see in a way. It's
yeah,
like, this is really what's happening. And I think it gives people in the happy stories more hope because it's real, and
yeah,
in the darker stories, more reassurance because it's like, oh, it's not just me if they're going through a similar
yeah.
situation.
So, in addition to what you've been talking about, what
Yeah.
else? What other conversations do you want this book to spark? Yeah.
Well, more honest ones, I guess that's what we've been talking about. But I
Mm,
think above anything, it's actually, well, two things. Less self-shaming. I think
yeah,
one of the worst things we do is sort of like repress our own truth because when we think we're not living up to how we should be, or not behaving as we should, we struggle to admit that to ourselves, and that's when we can't change anything because we're so
Mhm.
busy fighting our own feelings. So the first thing is to kind of like alleviate some of the self-shaming by saying like it's not just you. You don't have to be ashamed of this. Like this is a normal feeling, like this is a real thing, and you can have that feeling and then you can decide what to do with that feeling as opposed to just like trying to keep a lid on it the whole
Yeah.
time. So there's that. And then the other thing is what I wanted to do, and this sort of feeds into my background. Like before I was writing, I used to have an art gallery, like,
Yeah.
and there I represented women artists. That was like my thing. And it was about there as well, and continued in this project, expanding the range of voices and stories, artwork, their narratives, experiences that we represent. Because only then do we get a truly representative picture of what something's like. Like in the
Mm.
context of the gallery, it was like art history of what is contemporary art. If we weren't showing any women artists, we're actually showing like half the story.
Yeah.
Um, and then you go through history thinking, oh, that was the history of art. No, it wasn't. We just weren't showing like
It was like one
50%
episode.
of artists. Yeah. And like with this, the way I gathered stories was to go around chalking the website URL in parks. And I specifically chose parks well, for two reasons. One, we were in lockdown, so that's where everyone was.
Mm.
But number two, parks are a completely democratic space that are like accessed by anyone, regardless of your age, gender, race, sexuality, class, So
Mm.
anyone sort of had the opportunity to encounter that. And what I wanted to do by making it as open as possible, and then the way I showed these stories before they became a book, and also alongside them becoming a book, was I put them on the London Underground, and I put them across shop fronts in the high street, like on an exhibition. And the choice of those spaces was specifically because they're not an art gallery,
Yeah.
and they are spaces that you go not expecting to encounter art, and therefore you reach an audience that wouldn't necessarily step into an art gallery or also expect to see themselves represented in an art gallery. And by doing that, you reach more people, but you also show them you, who you think are not like a high literary person or whatever, your story matters too.
Mm.
And so what I wanted to do was sort of create a more wide range of voices, as well as wide range of experiences, to widen that kind of portrait and narrative of what our love lives are really like,
Yeah.
essentially.
You
So,
know what I
yeah.
liked about this book as well? You know that sometimes, like, we all have, like, a friend who's been
Yeah.
whatever pick a page, and they've probably been in all of them, all of these situations, and you'll say the same things over and over and over and over to them, and in a way, you're also kind of judging them, even though you don't mean to. But
Yeah.
when you read the book and you because it's anonymous, you get a deeper understanding of why someone's behaved the way they have, or re-entered gone back to the same relationship. So it gives you a bit more clarity and lets
Yeah.
you be a bit more gentle to
Yes.
your friend.
Actually, you know what? I was like, you've actually nailed one of the things that I wanted to say. It's about empathy, right? It's
Yeah.
about connecting to other people and having um, allowing for more nuance, which allows you to extend more empathy to
Mm.
your friends and to yourself. So
Yeah.
it's that. I really wanted to do that in the It's Complicated chapter because I feel like I've been in those situations,
Yeah.
like the situations you're not meant to be in. So, like, as well as feeling like I can't go and get sympathy from other people because I know I'm doing the wrong thing, you also do that to yourselves. But when you're in the situation, it's so much harder. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was easy not to be in the situation, you wouldn't be doing it.
The amount of times God, I sound terrible, but the amount of times I've said to myself, "I am smart. I have qualifications. I am
Yeah,
not stupid." But
yeah,
that you still walk in and you're not blind, you're walking in clear-headed,
I know.
full-eyed into this situation, and you're like,
And like my sister said to me recently, but like we're all fools for love. Once you
"Mm,
accept everyone is an idiot when they're like in love, then you can kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, I was an idiot.
yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
Doesn't
so
mean I
first of all,
am an idiot. It's just it
no,
makes us
exactly.
all
Doesn't mean
idiots.
you're not an idiot. It just meant, you listen to your heart more than you listen to your head in
Yeah,
that
and it might work
situation.
out, like
Yeah,
maybe it will. And you really want it to. So
yeah.
yeah, anyway.
Okay, so Philippa, what's the most random fact you now know because of this book? If not a random fact, the story that most made you think, what?
With random fact, I don't know, you might edit this out, what it smells like in a
Yeah.
sex club. This-
No, we're not editing.
that story in the
Really?
chapter.
I have
Yeah,
not
I
got to that bit.
never thought of that. I think it's like, looking up, it's called Playtime. It's about someone who
Okay.
goes to a sex club, and yeah, it describes, it talks about the smell, and it was something I had never thought about, and I was like, wow, yeah, yep, it must stink actually.
And not like a gym.
No. So that is my most random fact. Yeah.
Can I tell you the story? I say they're not story, you know what I mean, the stories, but it's oh god, I got to find it. Page 179. Put a ring
Okay.
on it. And it was the one that made me go like,
Yes.
so she's with her partner for 4 years and she's
Yeah.
expecting wedding commitments.
Yeah.
I expressed this to him and said that I felt it important to get to the next step. Otherwise, I would need to move on. And then he tells her at Christmas that he bought a ring.
Yeah.
This was the bit that made me go, what the? 3 months later and still no proposal. Apparently, the ring was stuck at border due to customs problems. And I was like, this is the explanation. This is the excuse you ran with. Of all the things you could have come up with, it stuck at customs.
Yeah. But you know, we were going through Brexit, or like, you know, there have been problems.
Philippa, I know. Still.
What's he gonna say? Like, oh yeah, I did order that ring, but I don't know. But yeah, and then you get to the end of the story, and obviously he'd
He
never
didn't want
ordered
to
the
marry.
ring.
He never ordered the ring.
No.
No, it's yeah. That it's not my favorite because I just feel it's the wrong word to use.
Yeah.
But it's just like the audacity of it.
Oh, I know. I know.
That's
And then
what it
he
gets. Is
goes
the
off,
audacity.
and he goes to Mexico, doesn't he?
Yeah, and
He
he goes
like,
off to Mexico.
yeah, he like turns his phone off for a week. He says he'll talk in a week, and then he goes to Mexico and doesn't come back. And it's, what was it? It's been 4 months, and he hasn't come
It's
back.
been
Yeah,
4 months and he hasn't. I told you I've got it tabbed like Oprah.
you know, I love the
And
final
I ain't
line.
got my
So you can
glasses
stay
on.
in Mexico.
Yeah. It's been 4 months and he's not come back. But since he's been gone, which is a song, I've met someone who is committed to me, which is nice. Then it ends so you can stay in Mexico. I was like, yeah, you stay in Mexico with your
Yeah, I
fictional
can give
ring.
you a little update on that one. She actually is now married with a kid to that new
Oh,
guy.
congratulations
Yes,
to her.
it ended happily for
It
her, not
did.
with that guy. Yeah, so there's light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, yeah. So
Mad.
we include the full range there,
Yeah.
and it's all
Right.
messy.
So Philippa, when you're putting this is like your writing process question.
Okay,
So when
yeah,
you are putting these stories together,
yeah,
creating this collection, and also
yeah,
you've got to put yourself in it because obviously when you introduce the chapters and stuff. So when you're
100%.
doing all that, are you
Yeah.
writing in silence or do you have something on in the background?
When I'm writing, like when I'm writing those chapter introductions and it's
Yeah,
me, like a blank page and me, right, I can't have music. I'm like, I can't cope. Like it
it's
just
too
needs
much
to be
stimulation.
too much. When I'm doing anything else, there's music on. You
Yeah.
know, like when I'm planning, when I'm like, probably when I'm curating the stories, there was music on. But
Mm,
when I'm writing, I need the absolute deep focus. Can't,
yeah.
can't do it. Yeah,
So sticking to the writing process, because I always
yeah.
ask, did it end the way you planned it to? But
Mm.
did it go the way you planned it to? Or did
No,
it change during the process of collecting
it
the
changed a
stories?
lot, right? So you know how I said this started in lockdown?
Yeah,
So it was like May 2020 I started this, and very early on I was like, literally the first 3 stories I got, I was like, "Oh, I'm reading stuff I've never read before. Oh, this is good. Like this is necessary." And so I was immediately like, the stories inspired me to be like, I
mm,
need to collect more. I need this. I need to make this a book. Obviously, I knew I needed a lot of stories to get to a book,
yeah,
and I didn't know that that would be possible, but the ambition was always there. Um, then once I had enough stories, or not had enough stories, but you know, the project was rolling, and I, you know, pitched, got an agent. It was great. We put a book proposal out, but it was Lockdown Love Stories at that time. So the website started as lockdownlovestories.com.
yeah,
And when I was first or at the beginning of collecting the stories rather, we were in lockdown. And so the stories were were very lockdown specific. And at that time, that was the proposal, essentially, like going out to publishers being like, it's lockdown love stories, it's a story of love in lockdown. And it was still like looking through the arc of a relationship,
Mm.
same structure essentially, but we were in lockdown and no publishers wanted it. They were like, these stories are great, yeah, we don't think there's going to be any appetite for lockdown. And then I was still like, all right, fine, that's just a first answer, we're still going to carry on. So we had the project still carrying on, months in, more stories, like great stories, follow them up to like some of the publishing houses that were interested, and just sort of got ghosted. And I was still like, no, that's not the final answer. No, 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 no. So the project carried on, and it was always in the back of my mind. I was doing other things, like I said, with the project, like exhibiting
Mm.
them on the underground, exhibiting on the high street, and then it got to the end of lockdown. I actually had a baby, and then I was like, do you know what? This project has moved on so far beyond lockdown. It's not about lockdown at all anymore. It's about the universal emotions that we all go through, right?
Yeah.
So I completely reconceptualized the pitch from lockdown love stories to It's Complicated. And it was 2023 that it finally went out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, obviously, like I continued to gather stories, but it took a complete redraft, like rewrote everything I'd put in, because
Mm.
the lens was no longer lockdown. The stories included were no longer the lockdown specific. I basically went back to the drawing board, but I had a pool of material, and I knew, okay, now actually, lockdown is not the most important thing in this project. What people respond to is that relatability, the
Yeah.
universality, the fact that we're reading stories we've never read before, and it's all about countering shame. So
Mm.
then we went out, and then we got the book deal, and now we see It's Complicated. So it took long.
It took long, but I think it's also, like, for anyone writing nonfiction, 'cause obviously we talk a lot about fiction books on the podcast, but and we do have, authors who write nonfiction.
Mm.
But I just think it shows the importance of sometimes you need to be confident and comfortable with changing the plan.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can be so deep rooted to, like, you're so attached to the initial idea, like, you fall in love with that idea, like, it's complicated, you don't wanna let it go. But, the circumstances around it have changed and you're like, "No, I need to move."
But yeah, and also I think it's one of those things that at the time can feel so awful, because you don't know if you will ever get a yes eventually.
Yeah.
But sometimes it allows the cultural landscape to shift and sort of catch up, and you to sort of catch up, and it aligns. Um, yeah. Like look at the way we're allowing more stories. Like look at the response to Lily Allen's album. I
Oh
mean,
god, but this is the thing I was gonna ask you, like, in the sense writing the book not writing the book, since start collecting the stories during
yeah,
lockdown and to today.
yeah.
And I was gonna say, how do you think it's changed that whole landscape of expressing ourselves about, the relationships we're in, and but not only how it's affected us, but also being honest about how the other person has behaved. I think sometimes there's been like you're putting a curtain up because 'cause you're still
Yeah,
kind of protecting
yeah,
them in a sense, but I think
totally.
now, yeah, I don't know if TikTok's to blame with the I have a story, and I always have a story.
I think we've definitely gone from hashtag couples goals to it's embarrassing having a boyfriend. Like literally, there's been a shift.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and also we've gone from a time of like almost toxic positivity around self-love
Mm.
to well, actually, I was going to say to being able to be more open about all the mess, which we have, but we haven't also shifted away from this highly independent, almost avoidant attached society. Like we're in this time of like you rely on no one but yourself, you like be independent,
Mm.
self-love, and all of this, that there's still this shaming around actually wanting to be in a relationship
Yeah.
and like being single and wanting to be in a relationship. There are stories in this book which I think still stand today where it's like, but I do love myself, but I want to share that with someone. I
Yeah.
want to have a partner. I love love. And that there's a sort of, like when my marriage broke up, and I can remember saying something about, you know, being in a relationship in the future. And friends were like, yeah, but, if you're not, it's fine. Like, as in, like, it was a sort of, as if I was shaming being single. Like, that's not what I was doing
Yeah,
at
it's not
all.
what you're doing, no.
And like, yeah, I just think we're so ready to shut people down and be like, just celebrate where you are. It's like, well, actually,
What are you complaining for? Be grateful. I remember
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago. Years ago, when I was still practicing law and I was in court and I was in the restaurant area and there's another barrister friend of mine. And it was really early in the morning. We're both standing there waiting. I think we're probably getting breakfast. And he turns around and looks at me and he goes, Nadine. I said, what? And he said, I've done it all. He goes, I went to uni, got the job, I'm doing well. I just want to be looked after. And I was like, oh, bless.
oh, that's men.
Yes, man, I just wanna be looked after. I went, "Yeah," I said, "I get that." It's like but in a way, you shouldn't be saying that. Like, you just wanna be in a relationship and just chill, not having to work
I mean, I've
hard.
got thoughts about that, but yeah, I'm not. I'm not shaming. I'm not judging.
We're not shaming, we're not judging.
Not shaming and judging women. That's
But I was just thinking about as well that, talking about how it's all changed, like, the landscape, and it's changed very, very quickly in a very short space of time. And I was just
Mhm.
thinking about the whole, like, tradwives thing as well.
Yeah.
And, then you was just saying, that about, there shouldn't have been any shame in saying, "I wanna be in a relationship," but then it's the
Mhm.
way in which I think it can become, like, slightly twisted when you look at that whole landscape.
Yeah, I mean, that, and sort of like it's that toxic positivity, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
there's toxicity around all these things because I don't think they allow for nuance. And
No.
I think the one thing that we need um, to make narratives more representative is nuance, because when we're
Mm.
living it, say, it's full of nuance. And I think that's the problem is social media, all of those, like, any hashtag crowd wife, whatever, couples goals, they flatten everything. And what I wanted to do is unflatten everything and make it really like nuanced and yeah, complex. Basically, it's
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah. I never liked the couple goals hashtag because my view this relates to anything in life. You have no idea what goes on
Yeah,
behind closed doors. And the whole, the curated image that's being put on
yeah,
social media, you have no idea what's going on once you turn the camera
yes,
to the other
and
side of the room and see the
yeah,
mess.
totally. And I think the problem is, I don't know if it's just me and I'm just like dumb about stuff like that, but it's obviously my insecurity, right? Like, I'll
Yeah.
see it and be like, no, but they could be really happy. Like, maybe they are really happy. Like, maybe they're the ones that are really happy. And then
Mm.
that's the benchmark that I'm like comparing myself to. But also, it
Yeah.
could be false. I don't know. It's really interesting you talk about that because over Valentine's Day, this coming Valentine's Day, I'm doing an exhibition of stories across billboards over London, taking the relationship stories and giving an alternative to that, because I thought Valentine's Day is really when it all goes hard on the like, oh, I love you so much. And like, it's love, love, love. And it's all like, it's almost like couples goals without the couples goals hashtag.
Yeah.
And just wanted to put an alternative narrative out there to be like, don't believe the hype, guys. Like, here's the other side of the story. So
I'm
look out for them if you're in London. These little messages from me.
I sound like such a miserable cow because I'm like, me and Valentine's Day, I'm like, I don't mind it. Like, I'm not gonna say no to, like, when the flowers turn up, but I'm like, I'd rather just give me the flowers on a random Tuesday
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
just buy
exactly.
me a bag
Every
of
day should be Valentine's Day if you're in
yeah.
a
Not this
relationship.
one day when, they put up the price of roses to something ridiculous and you're struggling to get a space in the restaurant that you always go to. Nah, ain't got
I
no.
think the reason I hate Valentine's Day is because I think it's does more harm than good. Like I think
Yeah,
it can be a really isolating and triggering day if you're single or if you've just gone through a breakup or if this time last year you were with someone and you were really happy and now you're not. Like it's just one of those fucking sorry, I saw some benchmarks where
sorry.
it's like it just makes people feel bad. And so that's why I wanted to put these stories out there to be like,
Yeah.
there's 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 another side of the story. There are many sides to the story. Don't just believe one.
Okay. Can I ask about you
Yeah.
personally? Did
Yeah.
any of the stories in It's Complicated helped you on your, I'm saying, relationship journey? It's up to you how much you want to go into it.
Yeah, they did. They did. They absolutely
Mm,
did. Um, it was an rather than any one, I think it was the kind of collective expansion of what was what other people feel. I thought that all the doubts I held in my relationship, I thought it was just me, and I thought it made me an awful person,
yeah,
essentially. Um, and I guess reading other stories where other people were holding these like conflicts and like the ambivalences and not acting on it
mm,
allowed me to stop shaming myself for that and be like, oh yeah, it's just really complicated. It's really hard. Um, and it allowed me to sort of stop silencing myself and actually be like, if it's not the most awful thing in the world to feel like that, maybe I could admit I feel like that now. And
yeah.
then we can start a conversation about, or even just a conversation with myself about what I want to do about that, you know?
I think that's probably just one of the good things about the book, as well as you enabling you to have conversations with your friends and families. It enables you to have a conversation with yourself, like an honest conversation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes, you can listen to all the podcasts, listen to all your friends around a bottle of wine, but sometimes you just need to sit and have a word with yourself.
Totally. Totally. I
Mm,
exactly. Um, yeah, I think it's when you read the book, the stories that jump out at you tell you so much about yourself and where
yeah.
you're at and sort of what you want, I guess.
There's one story in here, I think I was trying to find it. It's in the, I'm sure it's complicated section.
Yeah.
And it was this woman, I think she's in her 70s, and she's been
Yeah.
in this long-term
Affair.
affair. And
50
years,
years.
yeah, yeah,
50s. Yeah,
50
I know.
years. But the thing is, I remember this is years and years ago. It might be like 15, maybe longer, like 15 years ago. I remember listening to the radio, and there was a call-in show. And this woman, same thing, she'd been seeing this guy when she was probably like in her 30s, like early 30s. She was
Mhm.
now in her 60s.
Right, yeah.
He's married. He lives in France. He comes back and forth. And I remember the radio presenter was like, "Are you just happy just having like a piece of him?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, but this is the way it's been." And I was just thinking, I wonder if it's the same woman. This is what I was thinking.
Yeah, could be. I mean, what's also like when do you read those stories? And he's a pastor in this in
Yeah,
this
and this,
thing.
sorry, turn into my mum. Like
And
what?
it's complicated and people have their reasons and I really just wanted to create a space where we sort of understand that complexity more.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I've got to ask you more book related questions. So
Okay.
I always like to ask, did you ever hit the wall when writing this book? So I don't know if you hit the wall in the same way
Well, we
when you're
did with the publishing
creating a
journey.
collection. Yeah, but
It,
if the publishing you did.
no, it was hitting the wall was like there is no appetite for lockdown. And that was a big stumbling block.
Yeah.
But, as I said, it just meant I stepped away, and was like, "Okay, what's the core of this project, though?"
Mm.
Because sometimes it's like, I knew it wasn't lockdown, but it takes that sort of rejection for you to, um, almost like interrogate your material more, or like the whole thing, what you're
Yeah.
trying to do, you know. Yeah, publishing journey, I'd say that's a stumbling block. That's hitting a wall.
I think everyone can relate to it though. Everyone's publishing journey is different, but there are still things that we share,
Yeah,
which will be the rejection at various stages, whether it's very early on or whether it's 5 or 6 years in, and then it's waiting, I suppose, then waiting for the response to the
yeah.
story. So what's the response been like in regards to It's Complicated?
It's like great. But I think
Mm,
like people are so the stories resonate with people because there is so much, right? There's
yeah.
so much range. There's something for sounds like such a bloody tagline, something for everyone. But
No,
like
but
there
there
really
really
is.
is.
And because they are so raw and vulnerable and honest, people respond to honesty, don't they? Like
Yeah, they do.
people connecting to humanness and because they're saying the things that like the darker stuff that we don't normally say out loud, people feel like wow, they recognize themselves in it. Basically, I think
Mm,
it's that they feel like it's really resonant, it's really relatable, and that's so nice. Like that's what kept me going, knowing that people it was making a difference to people. It wasn't just
yeah.
I love this project. It was really seeming to have value to other people. So I just want to get it in as many people's hands as possible. I think that's the hardest stumbling block is
Yeah.
being seen, like cutting through all the rest of like the noise and the books out there and like the bigger books and stuff to make people aware because people do really respond to it. So I just need more people to know about it, basically.
More people are gonna know about it because
Oh,
we are going to tell it that I'm looking at How to Lose a Date in 7 Days, and I'm like, this is I think this is just basically part of this online life that
yeah.
we live. It's like day 1 matched, day 2 text me all day, Netflix party at night, and a 7-hour long phone call. Day 3 text me some more, threw some sweet nothings in there for good measure. Day 4 you called me baby, I wondered if we were soulmates. Day 5 you said you missed me. Day 6 we couldn't meet up. You felt I had a lot going on. Day 7 I never heard from you again. It's Craig David's song, but in reverse, I think.
It's actually, I should have called it 7 days. Yeah, because I title all the stories.
But I thought it kinda sums up, like, online dating. So I'm like, I don't it wasn't like this before.
I
There
know.
wasn't none of this, "Oh, I'm talking to someone." I feel like I'm
I
having a moan now.
No, but that's what I mean. Like societies as a whole, we're in this really avoidant, disposable culture, and like it's really hard. And I think what we definitely speak about that, like dating fatigue,
Mm,
heterofatalism, and all of that, and like how awful dating apps are. Like, I'm not saying anything new. What I think, what I think the stories are saying that's kind of new, or not new, but like just goes a bit further than that is like the real impact to self-esteem that has that
yeah.
does wear people down, like that has real consequences. And like, yeah, just don't be dicks, people. Like, when did it get so hard? Like, I don't know, I remember being like at primary school and it was sort of drilled into us, like, just treat others how you'd wish to be treated. Like, why can't why can't people do that in dating? Like,
I
would
don't
you want
know.
to be treated like that? No. How about you don't do it then? It's really fucking simple.
But sometimes I think it was easier when it was, like, back in school and you got your friend to give the guy you fancy a note. "Do you like Nadine?" Tick yes or tick no. And
Oh
then you
god.
get the no.
Not in my school, because unless you were like the top like 10 certain girls, or like you were just not getting a look
Oh,
at
it
them. So
didn't happen.
yeah.
But, when you was talking about, like, when did it change? And I was just thinking, talking about, online dating, and obviously I say way back when, prior to the internet, dating when you couldn't if someone wasn't introducing you to someone or you didn't meet someone when you was out, and people were putting their, um they're meeting people via the classified ads, and there's a
Yes.
certain amount of trust for that because
Yeah.
all you're getting is, "I'm looking for X person, this age, this height, interested in" I don't know, dogs. And then
Yeah.
you'd reply back, and then
Yeah.
somehow you'd arrange to meet.
Yeah.
And there's none, and what's missing from that is obviously now you could before you even get to the "let's meet up" bit, you can check out their entire social media history.
Yeah, I
Like, you
know.
get to know them, well, your version of them, before
Yeah.
you even get to have a
On
coffee.
all those curated edits, right? Like all those live
Yeah, all them filters.
all the filters. Like I've read something recently that said the a big problem with like online dating profiles is people are inherently very bad at sort of identifying themselves properly, like self
Mm,
represent. Like so, I might say, "Oh yeah, I'm really outdoorsy." I'm not, but somehow in my head I'm like really outdoorsy. I don't know, like or like I'm not looking for a relationship. I just want to have fun. Actually, I really want a
you
relationship.
really
Like
want
we
you
just
wanna yeah,
somehow we don't know what it is we want, and it's like almost we don't know who we are, and so there's just so much confusion.
yeah.
Yeah,
Philippa, before I go on to what you're working on next,
yeah,
you're talking about how people filter themselves
yeah.
on dating apps, and then I was sent I like, you gotta like whether it is, and this person's profile picture, I don't think it wouldn't have been so bad if they just used, like, a filter on their face. They literally posted a kitchen door, and I was like, "Why am I looking at a kitchen door? What? Why just a kitchen door?" It turned out they were a kitchen fitter, and I was like, "That is not the picture that you put on your profile pic."
That
And my
what's
friend was like
interesting?
I
It's the
told my
first.
friends, and my friend said they went, "Oh, did you match?" I was like, "No, no, no, no." He goes, "But" I was like, "Well, the kitchen was nice." Like, no issue with that. However, yeah, it's very weird.
I mean, yeah, like the whole thing is really sort of um unnatural, unspontaneous. Like there's no vibe, is there?
No,
Like, that's the problem. Like I don't know. I'm
you
terrified.
can't
Can't do
get
it.
vibes with a kitchen cabinet.
Can't. I'm really funny. Like if I put a dating profile, I don't think I sound funny. Like that's not me. I can't do this. I'm like I can't be flattened. Like, you got to meet me to see the complexity.
I always feel that way about job interviews. I'm like, you need to meet me in person. Like, the
Yes.
paper version of me, the CV version of me
Yeah.
is not gonna cut it. I feel like you need to meet me in person.
Like yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
It's
that's just
totally
like
like yeah.
so Philippa,
Um,
what are you working on next?
well, currently, right now, I'm working on these billboards. I'm like
Yeah,
curating these stories to put out on the high street so that people get this reality check
yeah.
on the sort of Valentine's hype that they're absorbing. Um, and writing wise, I am working on something that is, again, it's a sort of hybrid. So it has an element of like participation again, of like people sending me their submissions in a way, but it's much more like one on one, like I personally asked people. And then my story, like a kind of fiction, it's like a narrative and a non-fiction put
Okay.
together. Yeah, about love, about a breakup
About
again.
love and breakup.
Like it's always going to be about this. It's like, there's nothing else.
Nothing else. Philippa, if readers recommend not if, when readers recommend this book to a friend, what do you hope they say?
I hope they say, "Oh my god, it's brilliant! I've never read stories like this.
I'll
Like
say
it
that.
made me laugh. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry, and just it made me feel better." That's what I want to
Yeah,
say. Yeah.
because I think as well, you don't when you read it, you're like, "Oh, I'm not alone."
Yes.
Whatever situation you've been in, good or bad, you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not alone."
That is it, and that's what we need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Philippa, to end our coffee break, which has been lots of fun. Which book, film, show, or video game do you recommend?
Do you know what? I'm at the moment. I'm watching something on Mubi. I actually bought a subscription just to watch this show called The New Year's. It's Spanish.
Okay.
It's about a couple. Um, it's almost like a one day concept in that it's the New Year's over a 10-year
Oh,
period, a
right. Mm,
relationship from when they're 30 to 40. So it's like seeing a long term relationship shift.
yeah,
And it's so real. It's great. Like the New Year's. I love it. Yeah.
I will look out for it.
Have a look.
I
Yeah,
will. All
it's
right.
been
So, Philippa Found, that just leaves me to say thank you so much for joining me for the conversation coffee break.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you so much for the stuff you said about the book. That's basically, that's what I
Oh,
wanted to say.